we felt put us in a position where we had to make an offer that was lower than what we would usually be comfortable with in a case of this nature.
Good morning, Counsel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Your Honor, Frank Coker, 3095, on behalf of Mr. Collins, present at liberty.
Eric Bauman for the State Bar number 9755.
All right, Counsel, I understand a guilty plea agreement has been entered. Please state the negotiations on the record.
Yes, Your Honor. This morning, Mr. Collins is going to be entering a plea of guilty to count 1, reckless driving, B-class felony, and also count 2, vehicular manslaughter, a misdemeanor. We're going to be asking the court today to look at count 2, the citizen magistrate, and proceed with the sentencing today on count 2, the misdemeanor. The negotiations entail both parties stipulating to probation as to count 1. As to count 2, both parties are stipulating to a sentence of 90 days regular time in the Clark County Detention Center. This plea is a conditional plea, and I'll just leave it at that point, Your Honor.
State.
Your Honor, if I may have permission of the court to put our reasons for negotiating the case on the record.
You may.
Your Honor, this case presented a number of concerns to the state that we felt put us in a position where we had to make an offer that was lower than what we would usually be comfortable with in a case of this nature. Among them, the grand jury failed to indict on the DUI charge initially. We were attempting to proceed back in Justice Court to preliminary hearing on the original criminal complaint. However, the issue was brought before the state Supreme Court. They deferred ruling on that until after the case had proceeded through its normal course. The state had concerns as to what the result might be ultimately before the state Supreme Court. That was one issue. Second issue is the fact that very close in time after this case took place in December of 2020, the state legislature saw fit to change the statutes regarding DUI marijuana. This case was one where the marijuana level was only slightly over the previous per se limit. State had concerns about the jury appeal as a charge as it stood at that point. I'd also like to note for the record that since the very date of the offense, state has been in constant contact with the victim's family up to, most recently last night. The victim's widow, who I speak to with great regularity, is fully in support of this resolution today. Thank you.
Mr. Collins, please state your full legal name for the record.
Dayon Marvin Collins.
Mr. Collins, did you hear the negotiation as stated by your counsel?
Yes.
Is that what you'd like to do today, sir?
Yes.
How old are you?
21.
How far did you get in school?
I graduated high school and I did CSN, College of Southern Nevada. I did 2 semesters there, a full year.
You read, write, and understand the English language?
Yeah.
Do you have any type of learning disability that affects your reading comprehension?
Say it again?
Do you have a learning disability that affects your reading comprehension?
No.
Are you currently under the influence of any drug, medication, or alcoholic beverage today?
No.
Have you been treated recently for any drug issues or mental health issues?
No.
Did you receive a copy of the information or the charges against you in this case?
Yes.
Do you understand those charges?
Yes.
Do you have an opportunity to discuss your charges and your case fully with your attorney?
Yes.
Are you fully satisfied with the representation and the advice of your counsel? As to the charge set forth in the information, 1 count, reckless driving, category B felony, and 1 count of vehicular manslaughter, a misdemeanor. How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you making this plea freely and voluntarily? Has anyone forced or threatened you or anyone close to you to try to get you to enter the plea?
No.
Other than what's contained in the guilty plea agreement, has anyone made you a promise to get you to enter the plea? The copy of the guilty plea agreement that was filed in your case, did you read it?
Yes.
And did you sign it?
Yes.
Prior to signing it, do you have an opportunity to review it with your attorney?
Yes.
Did your attorney answer all of the questions that you had about the guilty plea agreement before you signed it?
Yes.
I understand by pleading guilty today, you're giving up certain constitutional rights that are listed in the agreement.
Yes.
You also understand you're giving up certain appellate rights that are listed in the agreement.
Yes.
You discuss those rights with your attorney.
Yes.
You understand that if you're not a United States citizen, entering a plea of guilt can have immigration consequences, including deportation.
Yes.
More than 6 years in the Nevada Department of Corrections and a mandatory fine minimum of $2,000 and a maximum of $5,000. Do you understand that's the range of punishment as to count 1?
Yes.
As to count 2, do you understand the maximum penalty could be 6 months in the Clark County Detention Center and a fine of $1,000 and anything between that? Do you understand that's the range of punishment to count 2?
Yes.
You understand that sentencing is solely up to the court, including whether or not the counts are run consecutive or concurrent.
Yes.
You also understand that this is a conditional plea, meaning that if the court does not accept the plea agreement as stated, either side has the opportunity to withdraw from the plea agreement and proceed with trial.
Yes.
You understand that no one can promise you probation, leniency, or special treatment.
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty today, Mr. Collins, because in truth and in fact, on or about December 30th of 2020, within the County of Clark, State of Nevada, contrary to the laws of Nevada, you willfully, unlawfully, and feloniously drove a motor vehicle at Fort Apache and Furnace Gulch in Las Vegas, Clark County, Nevada, with willful and wanton disregard for the safety of persons or property by driving said vehicle without paying full time and attention to your driving, and for failing to exercise due care, and for failing to drive in a careful and prudent manner, and or traveling 85 miles an hour in a 35 mile an hour zone, which acts or neglect of duties proximately caused the death of Eric Echevarria. As to count 2, as the state alleges that you unlawfully and proximately were driving and or being in actual physical control of a motor vehicle on a highway or premises to which the public has access at Fort Apache and Furnace Gulch in Las Vegas, Clark County, Nevada, caused the death of Eric Echevarria through an act or omission that constitutes simple negligence. Are all of those facts true, sir?
Yes.
Do you have any questions for me or for your attorney before I accept your plea? Court finds the defendant's plea of guilt freely and voluntarily made. Defendant understands the nature of the offense and consequences of his plea and therefore will accept the plea of guilt. This matter will be referred to the Department of Parole and Probation for a pre-sentence investigation as to count 1 and will be set for sentencing in the ordinary course. As to count 2, sitting as a magistrate, Mr. Collins, I hereby adjudge you guilty of vehicular manslaughter and hereby sentence you to 90 days in the Clark County Detention Center with a $1,000 fine imposed.
Thank you, Your Honor. With regard to a turn-in date, we would like to see if it would be possible to have him turn himself in on Tuesday, and on Monday, being a holiday, the jail will be backlogged. If he could do a self-surrender on Tuesday.
Any opposition from the state?
No.
All right, there's a surrender date to CCDC on June 20th. You must surrender yourself before 5 p.m.
That sentencing date will be September 14th at 9:30.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, since he's going to be at CCDC, let's set it as an in custody so that PMP will go down to CCDC to interview him because he'll be there for 90 days. It's regular time
Thank you,
on
Judge.
that sentence.
So that's July 27th at 9:30.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.